I don't know if you can see it, but I got bored and I started braiding my hair. So I've got this one really thin braid, and yeah, this will be joining us. Hello everybody, my name's Rabia and I am back with another film review. So for those of you that are new here, I am currently doing a film challenge by Hollywood and Wine, where for 52 weeks you watch a themed film. So the theme for this week, week 2, is to watch an inspirational film. Now they've left it quite open-ended, which I really appreciated, because people take inspiration from lots of different things. For me though, I decided to watch a film called Joy. Now, I found this film on Netflix. I literally put in inspiring films because I just wanted to be surprised. And actually, I'm so glad that I found it. How I'll do this review is I'll give you a bit of a synopsis and an overview of the film and the cast, and then I'll go into my personal pros and cons of the film and then summarise. So I'll just get straight into it and tell you guys a little bit about the film. The film is called Joy and it's directed by David Russell. You might have seen some of his other movies. He's directed Silver Linings Playbook and also American Hustle. So you might see a bit of a theme here. He does like to cast Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper, but I'm not complaining. They are both phenomenal actors. So the film is called Joy, and Joy is the main character, played by Jennifer Lawrence. She's a divorced mother of 2. She has so much going on in her personal and professional life. She's lost her job, she's quit her job. I wasn't really clear what happened there, but she's either lost or quit her job. She's got a dysfunctional family. Her ex-husband lives in her basement. Her dad's broken up with his girlfriend and moved into their basement as well. Her mum just watches soap operas day in, day out. She's got 2 kids running about, and it's a lot. And then she's got a half-sister called Peggy, and then a best friend called Jackie. So all of these are the main characters in this film, or the main cast. And the film is showing the journey of how this woman overcomes all of these issues. So this story is loosely based on true life. So the actual woman was Joy Mangano, and she created the Miracle Mop, and it shows how this woman overcomes everything that is thrown at her to follow her dreams, to show people, show the world that a woman, a mother, a daughter can achieve so much. And it really was the best choice for an inspiring film, because I'm inspired now to go create something. I'm not gonna, but I'm inspired, and I really thought that it was beautiful. I was surprised to find out after I was doing some research afterwards that on IMDb it's got 6.6 out of 10 rating, and Letterboxd, which is an app that I use to track and review films that I watch, it's got a 3 out of 5 star rating. I mean, 3 out of 5 is not too bad, but I really genuinely think this film deserves a lot more love. I personally rated it 4 out of 5, which I thought was fair. Because I'll go on later, there are some cons to this film. Not exactly cons, but some things that sort of didn't sit well with me. But yeah, so this was a great watch. It was a really good mix of drama and having this dysfunctional family just causing chaos, and then Joy getting dragged into that chaos and her life just a mismatch. And then contrasting it to, you know, the beautiful moments when this woman succeeds and she gets little bursts of success and happiness, and when people are rooting for her, and then they switch you back straight away into no one rooting for her family turning on her and things happening. And, you know, there's so many emotions going on, and such a mixed bag of emotions that you can't help yourself but put everything down and watch the film and be there with them. Overall, I did enjoy it, but I will go into some pros and cons. I'll start with the pros. So the first pro for me was Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, she is an absolutely stunning actress. I'll be honest, sometimes I don't like the characters that she plays. I think sometimes they're just a bit stereotypical and she's the different girl. I think in this one she was cast really, really well. However, I have been reading online that a lot of people didn't think that she was cast properly. Some people were saying that she was maybe too young for the role. Some were saying that she just wasn't the right fit. But personally, I really enjoyed watching her. And for me, it was a very, very believable character. I completely was there with her during her traumatic house scenes and during her successful scenes as well. So Jennifer Lawrence was definitely a pro for me. I think I would definitely recommend it to any Jennifer Lawrence fans, or even if you're not a fan and you want to give something a go, because she does play a bit of a different character in this film. The second pro is the actual story itself. Knowing that it's loosely based on true life as well, on an actual person, I always love that, because what I do is I go and research the real person straight after and then see how closely the film followed their life, or what does this character look like? Did Jennifer Lawrence look like that, or how did they do the styling? And I think it just adds a layer of, you know, okay, we're following a real person's story here. This could have been any of us. So it was really, really inspiring, and just the progression that this character makes and the confidence that exudes out of her at points in the film is so inspirational. And not as a mother of two, but as a woman, I think I really enjoyed seeing that. And then moving on to my final pro that I want to mention for this film is actually the cinematography. Now, I know there were some trippy scenes. If you've seen the film, you probably know, but there were some trippy scenes where Joy, the main character, goes into a dream-like world. I'll talk about those later. But other than that, for me, the cinematography was really, really good. There was one scene that I actually had to rewind and watch again because I really liked it. And if you've seen the film, it was the scene when Joy meets Neil for the first time. Neil and Joy's ex-husband's friend come down and meet them in the lobby after making them wait for so long. And it shows Joy's ex-husband getting up, shaking his hand with all these people, and Joy is just in the frame in the background with her mop on her side, her bag on one side, just watching these men interact. And that scene got to me. I'm like, this woman is the brains behind this mop. This woman has made the mop herself. She's spun the cotton herself 300 times, or however many times it was. She has been there with all the people in the factory making this mop. She's come up with the idea. She's drawn on her daughter's drawing pad and made these designs, but still it's the men that are shaking each other's hands, and she is just sat there with her amazing product, her mop, next to her while these men are interacting. And that really, brought it home for me. So I've worked in retail before in a phone shop, and I know that people have looked straight past me as a woman and gone to my male colleagues for help instead of coming to me, because there's just this bond. So it was beautiful to see that this woman has so much power. She's got this amazing product, yet the men are shaking hands. And I don't know if it was intended that way by the director, but I took it that way and I thought it was so powerful. So they were my pros. Now I'll move on to the cons that I thought of this film. So the first con for me was pacing, and after I was reading some reviews, a lot of people were also commenting on this, that the pacing was off. So a lot of people said that the first half was dragged out and then it sped up a lot at the end. But for me, I really enjoyed the first half. I thought the first half the pacing was perfect. I really enjoyed getting to know the family, and I think if they cut out any more scenes, or if they sped it up a bit more or didn't show as many characters, I don't think I would have connected with that family as a whole. So I thought the first half was perfect. For me, it was just the second half that just dragged on a bit too long. I think it was around the maybe hour and a half mark, making me feel like the film was just a little bit too long. I think they could have easily shaved about 25 minutes. But it's not a massive complaint, because I did stick by to the end. There was never a point where I was like, I'm gonna leave this film, absolutely no chance. But just as a viewer, it would have been a better experience for me if it was a little bit shorter. So my second con for this film is that some of the scenes felt a little bit unbelievable, and if you guys have seen this, you are probably now thinking of the exact same scene that I've got in mind, and that's when she's pitching her mop on QVC. Now, that was a bit painful for me to watch. I think the first thing she says when she's on stage is something like, "Oh, the lights are really bright here. Neil didn't tell me that. Actually, Neil did." And that's just the moment where it became unbelievable for me, because if she was actually on QVC pitching a mop, a first time item, never seen before, that she's created, a stay-at-home mum, you know, all of these people that are selling on QVC, there's Joan Rivers, for example, they've all been there for years and years, they've trained up for it, and she's just come in and tried to sell her mop. And she's been unprofessional by saying, "Oh, there's so many lights here." They'd just say, "Cut," 1 second in, and she wouldn't have a chance to sell her mop ever again. It was too dramatised for me, but it made good television, I guess. And moving on to my third con for this. So this film had, as I mentioned before, quite a few trippy scenes. It had like dreamlike sequences involving the soap operas the mother was watching and Joy and her childhood. You see them in about the first hour of the film, when they're trying to show how Joy is living in a dysfunctional family. And then there's no reference to the trippy scene in the last 3/4. And it just made me think, were they necessary? Were the scenes really needed? There were only 2 or 3 of them, I think even just 2 of them. But for me, they didn't add anything. It was just very out of place. It was quite a gritty film, and then you have these like dreamlike sequences that just didn't make any sense to me. And also the mum's soap opera stuff. I get that they were trying to show that it was a dysfunctional family, but they made that point by showing the family. They didn't need to incorporate the extra soap opera element. And for me, I don't know if there was another reason the director did that, I've not researched into that, but it just felt misplaced and a bit forced into the narrative for me. But other than that, I think the film was great. Like I said, I've rated it 4 out of 5 stars, so that's a pretty high rating for me. And I think that if you haven't seen it, if you like Jennifer Lawrence, if you like Bradley Cooper, if you like David Russell's films, or not, if you just want to give something new a go, I definitely recommend Joy as your next watch. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will be back next week with week 3 of this challenge. So next week's film is a film in a different language. So I'm really excited. I did actually recently watch one, but I will watch a brand new one this week to review next week. Also, I'm open to any film suggestions, so if you do have any, please send them my way. I watch any type of film. I'm open to watching any type, so anything you want to recommend, please do so in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next week.